When I woke up in the morning at about 7:30, I saw a text on my phone that there will be an election by 8 from this Eleko secretary, Donkemezuo. And then I called my co-aspirant to find out what was happening. He said, as he speak to you, Odense has been declared winner. I said, how? I was on top of my bed. I quickly picked up my shirt. Called a few of my delegates, called delegate that was in my same hotel with me, and I asked them what was happening. They said they don't know, that they heard people are at the venue. Immediately we rushed to the venue. The plane was barricaded with soldiers. People were all outside. All the entire aspirants were outside, except Odense. And they said Odense came with some students through the back door, went into the arena, and they did the charade and pronounced him winner, and then they rushed into government house to go and grant a press conference. So we now protested the government house gate, the barricaded government house gate with soldiers. We demanded the Eleko officers to come out. While we were there, they were already inside the hall declaring Odense as president. We also left there again straight. Everybody began to declare himself as president. I too, my delegate, we went our own ways and declared ourselves as president, formed our slate, and we started functioning. We took the protest straight up to the East-West Road, and we barricaded the East-West Road and shut down the East-West Road. While we were there doing all that, AIT, we know AIT to be upright. We know the station to be very professional station, and one of the largest stations where I've even won awards sequentially in this country as outstanding journalism, representative journalism in this country, who had footages of what happened the previous day when the electoral chairman declared the election inconclusive. They came to the East-West Road where we were protesting, covered the whole event. I must confess that the Nigerian police force and the soldiers who were sent to the East-West Road were very cooperative because they knew what happened. They supported us peacefully. Everything was peaceful until some police officers who were going to Okrika for the First Lady's mother's funeral came and intercepted the operation. But we were able to control it. And I maintained my stance that we will continue to demand our right peacefully, non-violently. And at that junction, we were able to manage the situation. And at the time we disembarked, it was about 7 p.m. that night. And as of that day, as I speak to you, already AIT had already carried it that Odense had been elected President Ijaw Council. How? And the Speaker of the Parliament, Deme Yinkori, did not vote. The 3 zonal chairmen coordinating the zone, because we have zones that make up the Ijaw Council, none of them voted. The delegates that were published on Vanguard newspaper, none of them voted. So who voted for Odense? Okay. That is to tell you that money has exchanged hands. People have been betrayed.
Isn't it possible that you and some of your delegates or your people overslept when you, because if you say you were in your room and they said someone had been, are you sure you got the date of the rescheduled election?
You can. The text message is on my phone. The time it was declared, the time I got the text message was 12:48 a.m. in the night. That's when I got the text message that election was going to be the next morning for 8 a.m. That's when I got the text message. And as of 7:30 when I woke up, already an announcement had went out that Odense had been declared winner.
What do you think is the interest of the government of Bayelsa State, since you have mentioned the government more than thrice in this, because we thought it was just between you and Odense Eradiri's camp?
No, the problem is that the Bayelsa State government lacks the technical know-how to govern a state. And I've said it before in this station that...
no, I'm asking the interest. It's not about technical...
that's why I have to... when you are discussing issues, you need to take it carefully so that people will understand the surrounding issues around it. Ijaw Youth Council is the foremost group, youth group in the Niger Delta, who cuts across straight from Ondo to Akwa Ibom. You can understand the large constituency that it represents. And for a president to emerge, which has been zoned to the central zone, which is Bayelsa State, for a president to emerge, there is no how Bayelsa State government will not have an interest. Because if today Bayelsa State government seems to be doing what they are doing today, not giving 100% dividends of democracy to the people as it's supposed to be, they know that those organs who are upright, who have majority of supporters, will stand up and try to correct the wrong governance that have been perpetrated to the Bayelsa people. And as such, they know that the only way they can call this thing is when they impose a candidate that will play the bidding of Bayelsa State government. So at that point, Bayelsa State government do not want candidate that it will not be of their generated candidate. They wanted a candidate they will generate to control Ijaw people. And
so these are the vibes you get from what you've seen?
Not just the vibe. I'm a participant to this process.
Yeah, but if...
and as I speak to you, I speak on behalf of the recs of the 15 aspirants.
Do they share the same view?
As I speak to you, we had a meeting yesterday in Port Harcourt, and I'm speaking on the authorities of the entire aspirant of the Ijaw Nation. As I speak
15
to you, I speak...
out of 17.
Yeah,
what happened to the last one?
The last one was the dance. As I speak to you, I speak to you in conjunction with the 3 zonal chairmen.
Yeah, sorry, I'll cut you here. You said the Bayelsa elders had to bring the 2 electoral bodies so that you can have a united one and hold this election. Yeah. Are they in the know as to the outcome of this particular election?
Yes, the Ijaw Nation are meeting. As I speak to you, even the INC president has been indicted because he's part of those who orchestrated these problems. The man who stole Bayelsa money and went to UK and was caught, convicted, is part of the problems we're having. Chief DSP Alamisia. Our INC past president, Joshua Fumodo, is also part of this program because they even met with us. I have it recorded on my phone. They didn't know I was recording it. They met with us on Sunday and they were talking from 2 sides of their mouth and said we should go ahead with the process, which was not clear to us, and I demanded that the process should be postponed because I do not have a confidence in the ELECO. And Alamisia then threatened me specifically and said, if we decide not to go on with this process, we are fighting them, and we should know that we cannot fight our elders. And for that reason, I didn't want it to look as if we are disobeying our elders. I said, okay, myself and Jonathan Lopobi agreed that we were going to go on with the process because at that point we wanted to abstain and then go to court. But they met us in Ijaw Wari, in Ijaw house on Sunday 3 p.m. The text is still in my phone, sent by the same Felix Teodolo to convert all presidential aspirants.
So at what point did you disagree with the position of the Electoral Committee?
First and foremost, the formations of the electoral procedures does not follow the constitutional guidelines of the Ijaw Council. Secondly, the electoral chairman lacks the moral integrity to chair an election like the Ijaw Council.
But it was made the electoral chairman.
It was made the electoral chairman. It was imposed as the electoral chairman by the INC.
Who is the electoral?
By the INC president alone.
Alone.
In conjunction with Bayelsa State government.
Who is the electoral chairman?
Sonny Dimitolofari. So that was why this whole electoral process had gotten to this level. So we are saying that the election wasn't conclusive. The accredited voters, as published by the same electoral body, did not vote. You know, I would have preferred that you put a call to the zonal chairman for Nigerians to hear, because Nigerians are watching. They want to get the detailed evidence of what is going on. For them to hear them speak, if they actually voted for Odense, let Odense tell Nigerians who voted for him.
So that means that if this has to be done rightly from your perspective, they have to disband the Electoral Committee. The
Electoral Committee, as it stands now, have been disbanded. And, you know, why? Because the Speaker of the Parliament, who was the acting president until the time we went into the election, had pronounced that the electoral formation had been disbanded right there inside the hall. And that is why it's pathetic, because we expect AIT, who was fully on ground there covering this event, to have aired this whole situation detailed as the way it was. And the pronunciation of the electoral chairman that the election was inconclusive and cancelled at 12 a.m. that night on Monday night. You know, for them to have...
You see, isn't it a shame that youth organizations really can't get this right? I'm saying this on the backdrop of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, which is also having some issues with its leadership. And now we are seeing the same thing with the IYC. How can this be resolved? Going from where Chamberlain stopped, asking you, what would you want to see? How can this be resolved? Because this group can't go about having two people laying claim to the presidency.
Well, you see, those are the problems when you have government interference in organizations that are meant to speak out for the people. When you have government interference in such situations like this, it creates problem. You know, most of the time, you see, leadership has been the bedrock of our problems of this country, the root of our problems in this country. And then organizations like IYC, if we had had our way, IYC had been conducting the election, the most prosperous election conducted ever, and that was the election that even brought and gave Kingsley Kuku the credibility to be an advisor to President Jonathan on Niger Delta. Was the election conducted by Kingsley Kuku in Ogula. And you can see the product of excellence in managing the amnesty program the way Kingsley Kuku had done. Kingsley Kuku had outrightly shown distinction in training our boys both here locally and abroad. That's to show you that that's a man with integrity. That is why the likes of myself wanted the likes of Ankyo Briggs to chair that process, because they know what it means to build integrity. And at that junction, they wouldn't have been able to mortgage their name for any
So quickly, where do we go from here?
Well, where do we go from here is that we have met, and we are meeting with our leaders, Paike, Clark, and everybody. We are going to meet with the president. We are calling on the president to also call the Bayelsa State governor to order, because we are hearing that he said he was going to come after us, they were going to kill us. So, but we are willing. You don't know the threat we are facing, but we are willing. For me, I have put my life on the table for this struggle, and whatever happens, the struggle will still continue. I have repeated this severally on this station that Isaac Dakaboro is no more, Ken Sarawiwa is no more, but the struggle to liberate and control our resources is still on. So if I am not bigger than the struggle, if anything happens to me, the struggle will still go on. But for record purposes, let me categorically say it here, that we have decided that there should be a nomination from the zones as it were, and we'll set up a new ELECO, and we'll go into the elections again, and the election will be conducted as we all expected, free and fair, and will represent Ijaw Youth Council as we are supposed to.
All right, thank you for coming on. Elvis Donkemezuo participated in that IYC election. So,
well, by the way, we're still hoping to get a word from Udeng's Radri.
Hoping he responds. You know, he said he was going to get back, but we haven't heard anything yet.